Hello and welcome to Romance of the Three Games. It's another double Empires mode episode today. So let's start off with the first of these Empire stages. Last time we captured one of Yuan Shao's territory, so today the real objective is to take his home territory. But first, as always, we have a policy to pick. An alliance with Yuan Shao suggested by Liu Bei. He clearly doesn't know what's going on in this empire. That's a fairly interesting offensive strategy from Sun Shangzhang. Diao Chan really gave the best policy in my opinion, healing 2,000 troops to all officers. You can look at those troop masters shoot up. Lieutenants now have pretty much all the troops they could ever need, so we're actually now in a very good situation. It means that when we invade we'll have a lot of morale because our army's going to be big. So let's pick out an army. I decided to go back to playing as Yanmei. Kind of missed her. I was considering using Zhurong again. It was kind of fun using that boomerang, but I don't think you could really beat Yanmei's just 10-foot sword approach to life. It's so effective. So to support, you can see I'm taking Liu Bei. Comparing the troops to some of the other officers, I ended up going with Ma Chao, just because he's put in a good performance in the past. And for lieutenants, I'm just picking the selection, which will give me the highest troop count to make sure I'm as high morale as I can when the battle starts. So here's the battlefield. It's a very small map, basically with two pathways down to the enemy main camp from our starting position, but we'll see that only one of them is going to get used, either by myself or the AI. Pretty much the AI on both sides of this conflict ignored the left side of the map entirely. I'm throwing in some items to make things a little bit easier. I didn't have the best items. You can see I'm using the 7-star sash again. Get myself a little bit of luck. I think luck just affects how often power-ups are dropped or health is dropped by enemies, which isn't massively useful. I have no idea whether having high luck really makes a significant difference or not. You can see here the morale on both sides actually pretty equal to start off with. This is good news. It means I don't have to be too worried about the AI officers going and getting themselves killed right in the beginning.
This one will be close. Everyone stay focused.
And so off we go. The first order of business was to move forward and capture the first enemy base that was in front of me. Now after I'd done this, I realised that all of the enemy and allied officers have piled onto the base just to the east of where I am. So I decided I was going to run down there and start joining in the action. I arrive, take out a few troops, and Cao Ren challenges me to a fight. Here he is. Unfortunately I get hit by an arrow and then he hits me before I hit the ground, so that was a bad start. I get staggered by another arrow hit and Cao Ren owns me up by shooting fire out of his shield somehow, and then he combos me before I hit the ground again, and I'm almost dead. So within just a few seconds of arriving in this fight, I have lost all my health. Use my true Musu to smash away those two enemy officers and troops and start running back to the base I just took in order to get some health. Cao Ren chased me all the way and he almost kills me just before I arrive. He charges and slashes at me. My health goes down to pretty much nothing, but you can see ahead of me there's a life plus 200. I managed to pick it up, so now we're back to more equal health bars. This Lieutenant General gets involved, breaks Cao Ren's guard, and I get a nice combo on him. I come in to do another one, but he hits me down. Then we go into a weapon deadlock. Let's see if I can win this one. Nice. That's another free combo for me on Cao Ren. Cheekily hit around his guard to take him out. There we go. So that's one of the enemy generals down. Ma Chao proclaims that he's fighting in the name of justice in celebration. Now, and you me struggling down there. There is still something like 3 to 4 enemy officers down there, so I do need to go and help them out. Before I can do that though, Lu Kuang is for some reason out here on his own. I think he also chased me, but then got distracted by these troops, so he didn't actually make it all the way back to the base with Cao Ren. Anyway, I'm going to punish him for being so far up from his own unit by taking him out. Now it was time for me to charge down into the melee for a second time. However, on the way all the enemy officers started just disappearing. There goes Han Deng. He disappeared, and basically when I went down there, all the others fell back on the way. So I managed to capture this base with ease. So now it's time to move on towards the enemy main camp. In fact, I'm just 2 bases away from the enemy main camp. However, all the enemy officers that have been defeated are starting to respawn, so that's going to slow things down. So here we are on the next base, facing Cao Ren again. You can see behind him he has a whole ton of sorceresses which have decided to show up and aid the enemy. Cao Ren gives me a nice combo and I lose half my health. Not too enjoyable. Hits me again and again. He's air juggling me. Managed to dodge his shield of fire launching mysterious magic power. Now I'm rushing back just to get myself away from those sorceresses. Cheekily hit him with an arrow, and Archer behind me does the same, which distracts him sufficiently to allow me to start hitting him.
Crush them in one blow.
Some of the allied troops around are starting to get involved in this fight, although they're not being particularly helpful. There are other enemy officers kind of marauding around to the left and right, so I was really conscious to be cowering quickly. And I managed to do it with my Musu in the end there. Just in time, sorry, to start fighting this Lieutenant General who runs up. I think Lu Kuang might be around here somewhere as well. If I remember correctly, Han Deng was here as well somewhere.
Can't even protect one simple
Liu Bei is ranting that people can't protect strongholds. He's right at the back near our main camp, not really doing anything, which is just what he did in the last battle I brought Liu Bei along for. So perhaps Liu Bei, perhaps in protest against Yanmei for capturing him and forcing him to work for her, is pretty much pulling no weight at all when it actually comes to the battlefield. Not very impressive from Liu Bei. Right, so I pick up an attack times 2 power up. That means it's time for Yan Liang to go down. Own him with my 5th level charge. Now I still have some attack times 2 to waste on Han Deng, so he's going to go down too. Hit him with a nice 4th level charge. And there we go.
I'll pull back for now.
So the next officer to come along was Zhang He. Luckily, you can see here I have Ma Chao helping me out a little bit. I was kind of worried about Zhang He because he's really fast and Yanmei is very slow, which is a recipe for disaster. But luckily, with the aid of my allies here, I can kind of avoid his speed, because he's going to use his speed to try and hit the allied officers, and the allied officers are fairly good at blocking and dodging these attacks. Which gives me the chance to just kind of sneak around his guard, start whomping on him a little bit while he's not expecting it. Although here Ma Chao isn't being very helpful in breaking the guard. Oh, there we go. With a nice ground pound. There are arrows just flying in from the back. Tons of enemy archers, because I've been fighting in this little sort of patchy territory for so long. Every time a new enemy officer comes along, their archers just set up shop. They're like a few paces away from where you're fighting, and gradually the number of archers increases until there's loads, and you have to go out and just take out 30 of them at a time. Anyway, after killing Zhang He, I captured the base, and then Yuan Shao, the enemy commander, came up from the main camp to fight with me, so this was my opportunity to end the stage. All I have to do is take him down. Unfortunately, he was rather powerful, but you can see I have 4 allied officers helping me out, and basically because of this the fight became very easy, because I almost never got hit by Yuan Shao, and I could just keep going around his guard as my allies attacked him to take him out. And so there we go, Yuan Shao is going down. Enemy ruler defeated, the stage is won. Not too difficult a stage, apart from the fact I almost died right at the beginning, which was the same deal with Zhu Rong last week. But anyway, that's another victory for Yanmei. Yuan Shao's empire has been crushed. Delightful, that means we just have Liu Bei to deal with. And we're going to see the first stage of dealing with Liu Bei later in this very episode. Casualties were acceptable in this battle, and we've captured all the enemy officers. I'm not hugely interested in taking on new officers now, because I kind of have all the officers I need. Liu Bei's empire is looking pretty in danger there, very surrounded by Yanmei's territory. I did have enough money to hire any one of the officers that I'd captured, but as I said, I don't really need them per se. They're not essential, because I have enough officers that even if I lose a few in the campaign against Liu Bei, I still have enough to field a good army. So I decided to just dismiss all of those officers and go and do what they like. So there we go. Ma Dai is leveling up to level 5, very helpful. Another elite lieutenant. And we'll see what happens on the policy stage later in this very episode. In the meantime, we're going to see what Liu Bei's doing in his Xtreme Mode campaign. It's time for mission 21. You might remember last time that Liu Bei got completely owned by a variety of enemy forces, mainly actually Yuan Shao, who I just took a bit of revenge on in Yanmei's universe. And now he needs to try and get some health.
Welcome. What can I get you?
Basically, I'm just going to have to buy it. It would be too risky to go around on red health looking for it. You can see I picked a stage there which has a bandit fortress. I've always kind of enjoyed these bandit fortress missions in the past, because they have lots of fairly easy enemy officers to kill, and you tend to get loads of items dropped. Sometimes high level items too. So you can see I bought up everything in the shop because I'm so rich and I just felt like it. I was about to leave and I thought, you know, I'm going to buy a second meat bun. I don't care if it costs 1,000. I've got 90,000 gold. Like, what's 1,000 to me? So I decided to buy it. So I bought 100 points worth of health. So I think I'm going to be back in the blue when the stage starts. So here's the battlefield. There's a bandit leader who starts with 2 lieutenants right next to me, so I'm going to be fighting from the get-go, and a couple of enemy officers, 2 of which are just sitting next to the enemy commander, which is a bit dangerous because it means I'm going to have to take on the enemy commander and 2 officers simultaneously towards the end. We'll see how I deal with that later. So you can see, within about 1 second I'm being attacked by 2 enemy officers, 2 lieutenants. Luckily the elite troops I'd bought are actually distracting the other lieutenant, so I can focus on just 1. However, you can see off to the right, I'm getting bombarded by arrows by these archers here. You can see I come up to try and take them out. There's not even enough time to swing my weapon because they fire so quickly, even at the perfect angle of attack. Go into a deadlock with the lieutenant, win, so that's another, give me a free combo on him. And he loses pretty much all his health. I'm still getting hit by those damn arrows, and again, like the arrows are just combo breaking me all the time. There's one more. Gradually swing my way towards him and take him out, and that means the lieutenant has no one to save him. He's gone. So now I take out that other lieutenant there with relative ease, pretty much the same deal as what we just saw. Moved on and I found another lieutenant guarding this little enemy camp they have here. There's a whole bunch of archers off to the right who I was more worried about than this guy. Lieutenant went down, and here are said archers. They shoot me in the face at point blank range, as they tend to do. Dong Shuo, it turned out, was guarding the gateway into this camp, so I now have to fight with him and the archers. But you can see the archers just keep hitting me, and he keeps breaking my combo and knocking me down. This is highly annoying. Oh, that time one of the guards actually hit me, the first time I've been hit by a real enemy. It actually makes the game really frustrating, and almost unplayably so. When these archers are just hitting you throughout every stage, like you can barely get a chance to pull off any combos, do any sort of strategy, because wherever you go, wherever you are relative to the group of enemies, you're just being hit by arrows and being constantly staggered or having your health be chipped away if you've already got a combo started. So it was kind of annoying. It just means the entire game becomes focused on attempting either to fight away from archers or to kill the archers first in any engagement, which can make things difficult when you have an officer chasing you down who's going to hit you from behind as you engage the archers. You can see Dong Zhuo here is having a pretty bad day as Liu Bei slices him up with a 20-hit combo there. Still, he's strong enough to survive it. Now he's hiding behind a tree. Tactic as old as time. I was aware that there are some more archers a little bit to the south of where I am, so I was trying to keep the fight where I am now rather than moving to the south. There's one archer still there. There we go, took him out. So I finally defeated all of those 5 archers who were harassing me. Even just a single stick of 5 archers causes so much pain. Like, when you suddenly round a corner you see that there are 15 archers standing around, well, you might as well just turn the game off. Game's over now. These are allied troops trying to kill-steal me on Dong Shuo, and I just about managed to get the kill myself. And they drop some Musu up 10, how handy. Lieutenant rides out of the camp when the gate is opened, but of course he's going to go down pretty damn easy. So now I rode south, stealing a horse, and managed to find a meat bun. Sir Wheat, we've got a life recover plus 50, however that pretty much is only going to go towards restoring the life I lost so far in the stage, so all I've really done is broken even there. Whilst looking for meat buns, I was ambushed by another bandit lieutenant. Luckily I had a Musu free 10 seconds. They only managed to use the last 2 seconds of it. So now I have to start hacking my way through his troops. And there are 10 archers. One group next to me, one group slightly further away. I know there's another group on the horizon there as well, you can just about see. So this was a very unfavourable situation to be fighting in when you're surrounded by groups of archers like this. Luckily, the archers weren't particularly willing to fire in this case, possibly glitchily so. A lot of the archers in the background kind of just didn't recognise that I was here and didn't fire, which was extremely helpful. Very well timed Musu there avoids me getting hit by the lieutenant, and the lieutenant is taken down, dropping a nice item. We'll see what that is later on. So next up, I moved back up to the north side of the map, jumped over this ridge, found some pots, and there was some more health in it. Unbelievable, 2 sets of health. So this is a really good turn of events. Liu Bei has now gained 200 health points since last week's stage. His health bar's pretty much up to half now, back from almost 0, which we had before, so this is very good news. Another enemy officer completely dispatched there, and I moved into the enemy main camp. My objective was to try and draw off some of the enemy officers standing around the enemy commander, which I mentioned earlier. The first of which happened very easily because he kind of ran out to meet me as I approached the camp. So I was able to fight this guy on his own. Plus in the beginning there I had an attack times too, which aided in taking down all his guards. A little guard captain standing around. It's because this base has loads of gatehouses on the east side. There you go, just open one of them. So there were guard captains just wandering around inside the base who are associated to those gates. So opening the gates isn't helpful in any way. Another item dropped by that lieutenant, very nice. So now I moved to the back of the camp. I saw an enemy lieutenant was sitting in an area of the map that I couldn't walk into. There was an invisible barrier. He was just standing there. I think he was a defeated subordinate officer who was just hanging around. Didn't know what his deal was. Don't know, I decided to just leave him, since even if I killed him I couldn't pick up the stat items he drops anyway. Now I'm standing here to draw this enemy lieutenant away from the enemy commander. However, it didn't work. The enemy commander still rushes over, so at least I'm only fighting 2 officers instead of 3, and I have an attack times 2 to begin with. So you can see I absolutely decimate all of these guards and troops around using the attack times 2. That clears house. I wanted to focus on killing the lieutenant first, because he's actually more powerful than the enemy commander because of these bandit stages. The bandit leader is actually not a particularly powerful unit, but the 2 lieutenants who guard him are. Luckily that free Musu power up I got came in useful. I pretty much destroyed the lieutenant, and he's going down. Now I still had a couple of minutes left, as you can see in the top right, so I wanted to search the enemy camp for health a little bit more. So I did so, didn't actually find anything. I actually lost some health because I encountered a group of archers who bombarded me. So actually that was a poor move going looking for health, but I guess I couldn't have known that. And then I came back to take out the bandit leader. There he goes. A nice showboaty finish on that guy. Another victory. How kind of Liu Bei to clear the area of bandits and steal their delicious meat buns for himself. Let's check the items. Horned Helm 13, not interested at all. Tortoise Amulet level 14, that's actually pretty good. Useless Peacock Urn, yet again. And a really high level Speed Scroll, that's actually pretty useful. Need an extra item slot to really justify using it, but I might get one day. I think I need to get to max rank. You can see I ranked up to rank 1. I need 12,000 more experience points. So that's something like, I don't know, between 5 and 10 extra stages I'll need to do before I get that extra item. A little bit of money, kind of just got back to the same amount of money I had before, so it's a nice break-even stage. So now we're back to the political phase where we left off a few minutes ago, picking the next option. Diao Chan wanted an 8-turn alliance with Liu Bei, poor choice. Sun Shangjiang had the nice 2,000 troops to all officers option, so I wanted to pick that again, because you can see that with that choice all of my officers now have pretty much full troops. So now I had to basically wait 3 turns for my alliance to expire, so we're going to go into hyperspeed and rush through these turns. I had to pick a number of policies. I kind of picked some very boring ones. I just like, I think here I'm picking get 500 troops and some money. Just fills my troops a little bit more. Right, next turn. There are some nice offensive ones which I can't use. I like the idea of promoting Zhurong to General, which was suggested, but I ended up going with this one, which trained Yanmei up to level 5, just to make her more powerful, so it should be more fun to use next stage. Liu Bei offers me an alliance for 8 turns. No, Liu Bei. He obviously doesn't see where I'm going with this. Right, now it's time for my offensive policy choice. I went for Yanmei's because it unlocks all items and it's going to incite a peasant rebellion when I actually do my invasion. So here we go, we're going to take Bei high. I'm not going to go straight for Liu Bei's capital, simply because it will mean I have another Empire's Mode footage to show next week, because since the Xtreme Mode isn't over, we're going to have some more Xtreme Mode footage next week. So I have at least one more week with Empire's footage in. You never know, Liu Bei might attack me, which will extend out the Empire's campaign. For this battle I'm choosing an all-female roster of generals. No particular reason, they're no better or worse than the other ones, I just chose to. And now I'm just picking lieutenants to maximise troops and stats. Ma Dai, you can see, is slightly better than Ma Zhong in battle, even though they have the same number of troops. So here we go. I unlocked all of the items, so I'm going to have the biggest possible choice of items. I'm going to take my favourite setup, Lightning Orb, some extra health, extra attack, although that Tiger Amulet isn't very powerful. To make up for it though, I'm taking the Wind Scroll, extra attack range. I really like having the extra attack range. Lets you do some very sneaky things, especially because Yanmei's attack range is already very large. You can kind of outwit the AI by hitting them from further away than they thought you could. You can see the morale balance is kind of equal. It's very slightly in favour of the enemy, but still relatively equal, much better than we usually have. You can see at the top that both sides have almost the same number of troops. Liu Bei actually has the maximum possible number of troops you can field in the game, so that's going to make things nice and fun. This battle did actually take a very long time. I used almost all the time limit, so I'm going to be showing you pretty much just a few highlights, otherwise we'll be here all day. Right at the beginning I saw Sun Ce. I jumped in to hit him. My hit, it kind of looked like it connected, but it didn't do anything to him. He just starts smashing me. He then stuns me with a combo, throws me again. I've already lost half my health. This is bad news. Try to block his attacks. He blocks my attacks, and that's pretty much dooming myself there. Use my Musu to avoid his combo, and try and put a little bit of distance between me and him and getting away from those enemy troops so I can focus clearly on killing just him. Yuan there in the background is slowly coming up to help me out. I foolishly tried to block his throw and then remember at the last second that you can't block throws, but it was too late. Then Sun Ce blocks all my attacks, hits me with a combo, and now I'm about to die. This is bad news. So I pretty much just ran away at this stage. What a bad start to a battle. I had to run away straight away. This always happens with these Empires mode battles. I just sort of start off, get owned, run back, and then start the battle properly. So anyway, you can see I had to deal with Sun Ce sort of snapping at me with his tonfa. I managed to escape, went back to the allied main camp, which was being attacked by Chen Gong, and took him out. He went down pretty easy. So now I went back to deal with Sun Ce. You can see Yuan was fighting with him. Yuan had already taken off half his health, so he was doing a good job. But I'm going to steal his kill by taking off the other half myself. Using my nice 5th level charge there, gets 2 lightning strikes, whereas all the other charge attacks only actually give 1, so it's pretty damn useful. But actually the 4th level charge might give you 2 lightning strikes. You want as many lightning strikes as you can really, because they do an absolute amount of extra damage regardless of the enemy's defense stats, so they're very useful. So now I captured another base. This puts me just 1 base away from the enemy main camp. So from now on it's possible for me to end the stage by going and taking the enemy main camp. However, you can see that there's tons of enemy officers on there if you look very closely on the map. And there's going to be loads of enemy officers coming down the channel from my position to the enemy main camp pretty much constantly for the next 20 minutes of the stage. So it's going to be very hard for me to actually get up there. So first I had to take out Chen Gong. He went down easy. And I had to rush back to the main camp because it was being attacked from behind by Chen Lan, who'd snuck around the whole map. And it was saying that we were struggling. I think he captured the base you can see in the background there. Used to be ours, he captured it from us. So I took off most of his health, and then he starts running away. And of course when someone runs away from Yanmei, they're almost guaranteed to escape because Yanmei can't move.
I still have business to take care of.
I was trying to chase him down, kind of hopelessly. Thought I'd fire some arrows. The first one actually hit, which is quite lucky. Fired another arrow. It hit as well, but it didn't kill him. He's still got a tiny bit of health. He dodges the last arrow I fire. And now he's going to start moving on a kind of curved path. It's going to be almost impossible for me to hit him with an arrow. I started just running after him normally. He kept kind of semi-deciding to run back towards me. He'd run back towards me for a few paces and then realise, oh god, I'm about to die. Although that time, I punished him for his little bit of indecision and just took him out in a single slice. So I think while I was here, I decided to capture this enemy base which he'd run into. And then I moved back up to the channel towards the enemy main camp to retry my assault. Sun Ce was here on his own inside our base. I'm not sure what he was really doing here, but I took him out. He was indeed in over his head, as he suggested. So now I had Chen Gong and Guan Hai here, who were also supporting Sun Ce. So I had to take these guys out, making good use of the lightning skill splash damage, thanks to all the troops hanging around.
It's not over yet.
Oh god, and Chen Lan, who I just defeated, has now respawned, so I'm going to have to fight him again in just a few moments. Guan Hai was quite a good enemy officer. He had nice attack range. Get into a deadlock with him and win. I'm going to get a nice tasty combo on him there. So yes, I went on to defeat those 2 enemy officers relatively easily. Oh, and there's Chen Lan, as I mentioned, defeated him just a few minutes later. You can see Ma Dai on our side is joining the battle. He was defeated by Zhang Fei inside the enemy's main camp because he went a little bit too far out. So now it's time for me to try and get into the enemy main camp. Here's Zhang Fei, and he starts owning me up with a single blow. He takes up a whole ton of my life. Liu Hua's around here as well. He wasn't really getting too involved in this fight. I used my Musu hoping it would hit Zhang Fei off his horse, but he managed to stay on. Starts bombarding me, but then I hit him off with a cheeky jumping blow. But still, he's going to come in now and totally own me up in a single combo. There we go. Good news is the peasants have now rioted on Yanmei's orders. I don't think the peasants actually achieve anything during this stage. They're just kind of there. They just distract enemy bases. Possibly distracted some enemy officers who went to go and deal with them, but I think Inoue actually didn't really do anything. Anyway, I ran away and drew Zhang Fei all the way back to this base again, where Ma Dai was waiting. So me, him, and a whole bunch of these troops are going to fight with him. I lose a weapon deadlock, but Zhang Fei tries a jumping slash, which is then countered by the jumping slash of those troops. Very good job from Yanmei's troops there. Very happy with that. And then we managed to take Zhang Fei down. Zhang Fei is the enemy commander in this battle. Oh yes, then I had to move back to the base where I started the level, because Guan Hai had somehow got in here, so I had to take him out. Don't you just hate it when you have a Guan Hai infestation? So now I'm dueling with Chen Gong. It's going really well. You can see I just need one more combo to take him out. But he keeps slashing at me with a jumping attack, which basically stops me from hitting him at all. It was very frustrating. So I thought I was going to win this baby, but no, he just keeps hitting me to the ground. I start hitting him with like 0 seconds left. The good news is that since in Empire's mode the health you have in duel carries over to the real battle, I can kill him in one hit immediately once the duel ends. The downside is that because I didn't defeat him in the duel, he doesn't like permanently retreat from the field like officers usually do when beaten in the duel. See, I thought even if you didn't beat them in the duel, that when you defeat them in the field after the duel, they would permanently retreat and never come back. But it turns out that's not the case, because I actually fought that guy like 6 times during this stage. I thought the maximum was 3, possibly as a glitch, because I really thought you couldn't fight them more than 3 times. But anyway, moving on to try and take the enemy main camp again. Sun Ce is here. This Lieutenant General is giving me a hard time. So it looks like I've managed to deal most of the damage I need to do to Sun Ce. Get into another weapon deadlock. I lose and then got owned by these 2 guys on either side of me. Nice sandwich. Now Zhang Fei is coming in. And I was like, oh god, just run away. So I have 2 Lieutenant Generals, Zhang Fei and Sun Ce, chasing me. It's a very Benny Hill-like moment. You can see Chen Gong there respawning, despite the fact he should be dead. Very inconvenient. Trying to get back to the base, but I decided after a while that since a couple of the enemy officers, I think Zhang He and one of the Lieutenant Generals got distracted, I'll just turn around and take on these 2. And managed to successfully kill Sun Ce almost straight away and take down the Lieutenant General. Now he moved up, smashed Zhang Fei back. Actually through the enemy main camp. We're now on the other side of the enemy main camp, but those Lieutenant Generals are giving me a hard time. Now, for some reason, Zhang Fei's first level charge can break my guard, which is very inconvenient. So he does so, and now starts comboing me. I almost die here. Managed to take out his 2 Lieutenant Generals with a combo. He comes in to kill me, but I use my True Musu and defeat him instead.
We'll make up for this next time.
Oh, there won't be a next time, Zhang Fei. Although maybe he'll be in next week's episode. Not sure. So move back to the enemy main camp. Chen Gong was here. Managed to defeat him again. And now there's only a couple of troops left actually, so I just take out these troops. And finally the main camp was captured after about 20 minutes of attempting to. And there we go. Now I just need to go and jump onto the podium. Go on, get on that podium. There we go. It's not a true victory if you don't get a podium finish. So it's a victory for Yanmei. The first of Liu Bei's 2 territories has been captured. So he only has 1 left. He must be trembling in his boots, because he knows we're coming for him. Very large casualties in that battle, since a lot of the AI officers were defeated. I think Yanmei was defeated on 1 occasion, Ma Dai was defeated twice. So we lost a lot of officers, and Chen Gong, the Magic Man himself, has been captured, although I don't really want him, so he's just going to have to be loosed off into the wild to do whatever the dismissed officers actually do with themselves. And there we go, we're moving into the next turn. More policies to pick, perhaps the final policies, we'll find out in next week's episode. So thank you for joining me for these 3 Dynasty Warrior stages. Next time we'll have 2 Extreme Mode stages, and perhaps the last ever episode of Empire's Mode. We'll have to see what happens. But regardless, there's still going to be plenty of Extreme Mode action, assuming I never die, which I like to think I won't. Find out next time on Romance of the 3 Games.